Hey guys, if you're new here and you like what I'm putting out, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss an upload. So, Power Rangers Edge of Darkness was a reading experience, and I didn't know what to think going into this, and coming out of reading this comic, my jaw was dropped because Frank Gagol did his homework when writing this comic, and it shows when you flip through each page and learn more about the lore in the Power Rangers universe and the Power Ranger comics moving forward, because this comic will leave you speechless at the end at what it's setting up for the future arc in the Power Rangers comic. So without further ado, let's talk about Power Rangers Edge of Darkness by Boom Studios. So this comic is a Phantom Ranger focused story, and going into this comic, I thought they would do the one thing that everyone's been waiting for ever since the late 90s, and that is reveal the identity of the Phantom Ranger. And in this comic they don't reveal the identity of the Phantom Ranger, which is kind of a good thing, because what makes the Phantom Ranger so popular is the mystery behind the person in the suit, because for many years people have speculated who this character is, and going into this comic and coming out of this comic, you don't find out the identity of this character. So the first couple of pages open with a continuation of what we saw in issue 8, where the planet Hartunia was destroyed by the Empyreals, and the Phantom Ranger is checking it out and investigating the area. And then after that, it flashes back 10,000 years ago in the past, where we focus on Lady Fana and Rita and the Phantom Ranger, which is really cool because Lady Fana is an awesome character, and I'm glad we get to explore more with her in this comic, learning more about her. And the biggest reveal we get with Lady Fana is we learn that she had a husband called Eden or Eldon, and that character turned into Master Vile due to the corruption in his heart being poisoned by Dark Spectre. And Dark Spectre is also a major focus in this comic, and it looks like moving forward in the upcoming story arc, it seems like the main antagonist of the comic moving forward is Dark Spectre. It seems like the Empyreals, or these dark forces, are trying to resurrect Dark Spectre, and that's because we learn that Dark Spectre is this almighty god that's trapped in another dimension, and they need a host for it. And the whole reason why Master Vile was hunting Rita in Go-Go Power Rangers is because they want to use Rita as a host for Dark Spectre, which is crazy. Crazy things to learn in this comic, but learning that Eden, or Eldon, was Lady Fana's husband and turned into Master Vile is also another interesting revelation as well, because in my Lady Fana related videos and in my Go-Go Power Ranger comics, I always speculated on how did Master Vile and Lady Fana get together, like what happened there? But then you learn that Master Vile used to be a good person, and then he was corrupted by the powers of evil, and that's how he turned out the way he is, which was a really interesting revelation to learn about the character. It kind of gives you more of a deep look into the character, and I'm glad we got to explore more of that side, and I'm hoping we get to see more of it in the future later down the line if Master Vile shows up in the comic, and we get to explore more flashbacks with that character. Now, what's also really interesting about the opening scene where the Phantom Ranger saves Lady Fana and Rita is it intertwines and parallels with issue 19 of Go-Go Power Rangers that was released a few years ago, because the dialogue is it's the exact same words you get with Lady Fana's last words, which she says, "No matter what you hear." And then after that, in this comic, Edge of Darkness, you get to see the scene of the Phantom Ranger saving Lady Fana and Rita, so it kind of shows that Lady Fana was not killed off by the Tengas in that flashback. So I don't want to say it's a retcon, but it's sort of like an expansion of scenes that you get to see in the comic with that flashback, which is also really cool because it leads into something bigger, which is the events in this comic. So I really do like that opening scene where the Phantom Ranger saves Lady Fana and Rita. Also, it's a really cool fight scene where the Phantom Ranger just goes into stealth mode and just wrecks shit. And also, the Tenga designs in this comic is really cool. You've got one that's like beefed up and really big and bulky. You've got one that's some kind of sage with a funny looking hat, and he knows a couple of magic skills, so the designs in this comic are really freaking cool. Now, I gotta talk about Masterforge, because I have a feeling that Masterforge is going to play an important role in the comics moving forward, although I'm pretty sure it gets destroyed at the end of this issue when the comic comes to its big climactic battle. So, Masterforge is a place that the Morphin Masters used to study the Morphin grid, and it's where all the Morphin energy is being stored. Not only that, I got a lot of Halo vibes when I saw the design of Masterforge, because it looks really freaking awesome. It's like a giant space station, and I freaking love the design for it. So there's some interesting things to take note of when you see Masterforge, and that is the big triangle symbol that you see in the area. And that reminded me of what we saw in Safe Haven way back in Necessary Evil near the final battle of that arc, and that portal thingy was used to bring Ranger Slayer from her timeline and the Solar Rangers from their timeline into the main universe. So that giant triangle thingy, I know it's a big beacon to bring different things from different multiverses into timelines, but it's also very dangerous from what Ranger Slayer said way back in that issue. So if we're going to see Masterforge again, I get the feeling we're going to see the ruins of it after it was destroyed by Master Vile in this comic, because Master Vile's ship that we get to see in this comic looks freaking metal. It's a giant skull shaped like his head. I freaking love it. So this comic does not end on a happy note, I will say that. It ends on a pretty sad one, and that's because the good guys don't really win at the end of this comic. And it ends with a looming threat moving forward in future issues of the comic, which I'll talk about in a bit. So the comic ends with Master Vile invading Masterforge, blowing it up like I mentioned earlier. He manages to kill Lady Fana, so we see how Lady Fana dies in the comic. Master Vile is able to get a hold of Rita, and Rita, we kind of know what happens to Rita if you follow the comics and the TV shows, where she's raised to be very evil. Not only that, the Phantom Ranger is left floating through space, barely alive, you could guess, because his chest piece is glowing, but he's just floating through space. So I do wonder how he was found if he was just floating through space. No doubt about it, someone found a distress signal and picked him up, but it does not end on a happy note for the Phantom Ranger in this comic, I will say that. So after the flashback, it cuts to the present day, where the Phantom Ranger is talking to Zordon, and the Phantom Ranger reveals that he's finally here. Dark Spectre has crossed over. So the whole Dark Spectre coming over to this world, or crossing over to this world, I do like that concept, because it's like summoning a demonic being. It's like summoning Satan to the real world. That's what it's like. And at the end of the issue, or the comic, you see this claw coming out of the lava. They show that Dark Spectre is about to rise as the Phantom Ranger is watching. And I went back and read Edge of Darkness, and it's hard to say if Dark Spectre was alive in those panels that we saw him in. He could have been a hologram, it could have been a spirit or something like that. You're not entirely sure, so it does keep that mystery alive and up in the air if the character was crossed over into that world at the time of that comic. So it shows that the Empyreals, and whoever they're working for, are trying to resurrect Dark Spectre, which raises several and many questions moving forward into this comic about why they want to do that, and what is their purpose for resurrecting this character. And I'm hoping we'll get an answer in upcoming issues of Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers moving forward in the future. So anyway guys, I think that's going to bring my review / recap / discussion of Power Rangers Edge of Darkness to a close. Overall thoughts, I thought it was a solid one-shot, and I'm hoping we get to see more stuff like this later down the line in the future, because with Frank also doing a one-shot in the Necessary Evil collection coming out in the next couple of months, I do wonder if that one shot will also tie into the Edge of Darkness stuff moving forward, but I get the feeling that this Dark Spectre stuff isn't over yet, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. So what did you guys think of Edge of Darkness? Did you love it? Did you not like it? Tell me in the comment section down below. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Special thanks to all the members such as Swagger4. If you want to get your name shouted out like Swagger4 over here, become a Zord tier member higher for special perks on the channel and stuff like that. With that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, take care, thanks for watching, bye.